What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 envelopes that I recently got back in the mail, and I'm going to profile each of those individuals that signed autographs for me. So to start off, the first one is postmarked from Texas, and it is a return from former New York Yankees shortstop Bobby Meacham on 1. The 1989 Upper Deck makes 2. 88 Donruss makes 3, and a 1985 Topps. So let me tell you about Bobby Meacham and his career in baseball. Meacham, born in Los Angeles, attended Modern Day High School in Santa Ana, California, where he was originally drafted by the Chicago White Sox in the 14th round. Instead of signing with the White Sox, he chose to instead attend San Diego State University. Meacham earned third-team All-American accolades as a freshman and was named the Aztecs team MVP in 1979. He was a second-team All-American in 1981 after batting .375 with 7 home runs with 51 RBIs and 44 stolen bases, and was selected by the St. Louis Cardinals with the 8th overall pick in the '81 baseball draft. Meacham signed with the Cardinals, ending his collegiate career as San Diego State University's all-time leader in runs, hits, and at-bats, and was second in career stolen bases, including a streak of 30 consecutive successful stolen bases. Many of you may not know this, Tony Gwynn actually was going to San Diego State on a basketball scholarship and was not there to play baseball, and this guy actually convinced him to come out and play baseball. Could you imagine the world without Tony Gwynn being a baseball player? I mean, that's just unfathomable to even think that Tony Gwynn didn't play baseball until he got to college, basically. So, moving back to Bobby, Meacham batted just .182 his first year in the South Atlantic League for the Cardinals organization. His batting average did improve the next year in the Florida State League. However, he made a lot of errors, playing for the Cardinals affiliate. And after that '82 season, which had this other guy at shortstop named Ozzie Smith, the Cardinals decided to trade him with outfielder Stan Javier, who's the son of former Cardinal Julian Javier, for pitchers Marty Mason, Steve Fincher, and another minor leaguer to the New York Yankees. The trade turned out to be a pretty good deal for the Yankees, as none of the 3 players that the Yankees sent to the Cardinals never actually made it to the majors. Eventually, Javier would be traded to the Oakland A's, which was the deal that brought Rickey Henderson to the Yankees. Meacham, meanwhile, earned a major league promotion by the June his first season with his new club, making his major league debut on June 30th, 1983. By the end of the season that year, Meacham had won the Yankees' starting shortstop job, appearing in a total of 22 games while batting .235 and 51 at-bats. During the offseason, the Yankees decided to acquire Tim Foley to play short in 1984. The Yankees ended up in 1984 having somewhat of a revolving door at shortstop, with Meacham, Foley, Roy Smalley, and Andre Robinson all seeing time at the position. Meacham, however, emerged with the most playing time of the bunch, logging 840 innings and batting .253 and 2 home runs and 25 RBIs. The following couple years, Meacham did not take over the Yankees shortstop position as the Yankees had hoped, and they went out and acquired other shortstops such as Paul Zavell and Wayne Tolleson to separate deals during the '86 season to replace him basically at short. Meacham basically ended up splitting the '86 and '87 seasons between the Yankees and their AAA affiliates, the Columbus Clippers. He spent all of 1988 with the big club, but an injury and the offseason acquisition of Rafael Santana limited Meacham to only 47 games, and half of that time they moved him over to second during those games. Following the 1988 season, Meacham was traded to the Texas Rangers for outfielder Bob Brower. In 1989, Meacham failed to make the Rangers out of spring training and was released by the club. He joined the Pirates shortly afterwards, spending all the 1989 season with their AAA affiliate, the Buffalo Bisons, but never got a call up to the majors with the Pirates. Meacham then spent the 1990 season with the Omaha Royals in the Royals organization, again failing to make the Major League club. Well, at this point in his career, after spending a couple years in the minors, after retiring as a player, he began a coaching career in the Royals minor league system. He then moved on to the Colorado Rockies in 1993, and then moved to the Pirates, another team that he played for, from 1994 to 2001 in their minor league system. His first managerial job was in 2002 with the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, affiliate with the Anaheim Angels. He held that job through 2004 and then returned to the Rockies in 2005 to be their minor league roving instructor. After the 2005 season, Meacham received his first major league coaching job when new Florida Marlins manager Joe Girardi named him the third base coach in 2006. Meacham was then the San Diego Padres first base coach in 2007 and then rejoined Girardi as the Yankees third base coach in 2008. In October 2008, it was announced that Meacham's contract would not be renewed for the 2009 season. He then spent 2009 with the Phillies organization as a minor league coach. And he split that season, he split 2009 between being a minor league coach with the Phillies and then being a first base coach with the Astros. After spending some time at the Astros in 2012, he was released by the Astros as their coach. He then signed to be the manager of the Blue Jays minor league affiliate down in Florida. Then in 2014, he was named the manager for the AA affiliate for the Blue Jays. He would work his way through the Blue Jays organization, becoming their AAA manager in 2016. He was then relieved of his duties in 2019 after the 2019 season with the Blue Jays. He then went back to the Phillies, joining his old teammate and counterpart Joe Girardi, coaching counterpart I should say. And after Girardi was let go from his position in 2022, Meacham also went with Girardi. So I know that was a lot to cover in a short period of time, but Bobby Meacham has been a baseball guy his entire life. You know, he had an opportunity to be drafted out of high school, chose instead to go to college, played, you know, as a very exceptional player in the college ranks, worked his way up through the minor league systems, eventually becoming the shortstop for the New York Yankees. He did a tenure with New York, obviously, and after his career as a player, he was able to coach for over 20 years, basically, and almost 30 years as a coach in different capacities in baseball. So, as of me shooting this video, I'm not sure if he works for anybody. Most recently, like I said, with the Phillies, since Joe Girardi was let go. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so this next one is postmarked from Illinois, and it is actually a return from somebody on one of my dual cards again. And the first dual card I'm going to show you is the Cleveland Indians Future Stars card. And it is signed by Tom Brennan. And I also have the previous year, the 81. So this is the 81 and the 82. And I also have two 83 tops that I sent Mr. Brennan that he signed as well in nice blue Sharpie. Now, for whatever reason, don't ask me why, I don't know what I was thinking, but I actually saw Chris Bando in person once and I had him sign the 82, but I didn't have him sign the 81. Why I did that, I have no clue. I don't know what the method behind my madness was on that. I remember when I saw Mr. Bando, he signed a lot of cards for me, probably about 8 to 10 of them if I recall, and for whatever reason, that was not one of them. With that being said, Von Hayes, which is the final one I need to complete this one, he does sign through the mail for a small fee, so hopefully you'll be seeing this one completed in the near future. I think Chris Bando does sign for a fee as well. I've never written him through the mail because I saw him in person. And I think I've seen Sandy Withole sign through the mail as well. So I might actually send that to Sandy next, then consider sending it to Chris to finish it off, just to get it completed. So enough about the cards. Let me tell you about Tom Brennan and his career in baseball. Tom Brennan, an Illinois native, was selected by the Cleveland Indians in the first round, 4th overall in the 1974 draft out of Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois. Being such a notably high draft pick, Brennan was actually assigned to the Cleveland Indians AAA affiliate right off the bat when he became a professional. Well, in 13 games at 21 years old in AAA, he had a 3 wins and 5 loss record for the Indians AAA affiliate. Well, in 1975, he would again return to AAA. However, he would struggle, and his record would dip to 5 wins and 14 losses that year with an ERA over 7. Well, going into 1976, Mr. Brennan was actually demoted, and he was sent down to AA and Single A, but his struggles seemed to continue as his record dipped to 6 wins and 13 losses. In 1977, he would actually split time between all 3 levels of the Indians minor league system, playing in Single A, Double A, and Triple A. However, that year he improved his record to 8-8 and had an ERA of just 3.86. Well, in 1978, he found himself right back where he was 4 years previous, being a starter for their AAA affiliate. At 25, he posted a 10-8 record for the Indians AAA team. In 1979, he would repeat again in AAA, posting a 12-7 record that year in 26 starts, but he posted a 3.17 ERA. Well, in 1980, he actually would finally have a pretty good season, and he posted a 9-3 win-loss record in 1980 and just posted a 2.49 ERA. Well, despite those great numbers in 1980, he still didn't get the call, but in 1981, again, starting the season in AAA, now 28 years old, he would finally get a call to the majors at the end of September of 1981. In his September call-up at 28, he posted a 2-2 record and a 3.17 ERA in 7 appearances for the Indians. Well, that was good enough for him to earn a spot on the 1982 club. And instead of being a starter, he only started 4 games that year. He earned a spot in the bullpen for the Indians, posting a 4-2 record in 30 appearances. Well, in 1983, he struggled a little bit out of the bullpen, had a couple spot starts for the big club, but he posted most of his numbers in 1983 in AAA, going 9-5 with a 3.31 ERA for AAA affiliate. Well, after the 83 season, almost 9 years after being in the Indians organization, he was then traded in 1984 to the Chicago White Sox. He would spend 1 year with the White Sox and just appear in 4 games for them at the major league level, spending primarily the entire season at AAA for the White Sox affiliate in 84. The White Sox would then let Brennan go, and he would sign with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers would also give him a shot. However, he struggled in the 12 games that he appeared in, posting an ERA of 7.39, and spent most of the majority of the 85 season in AAA for the Dodgers. Well, after the 85 season, the Dodgers would let him go, and Brennan would sign with the Texas Rangers. And at 33 years old, he would not get a chance to play for the majors for the Rangers, and would spend his entire AAA season in 1986 playing for the Rangers. Well, after the 86 season, Brennan would be let go, and that would be the end of his playing career in affiliated baseball. So, very happy to add Mr. Brennan to the collection. I'm not going to say anything negative about him, but he was a 4th overall pick, which obviously he, was highly touted as a prospect to do that. Unfortunately, I don't think things worked out for the organization that drafted him, the Indians, and it took him till 28 years old to finally reach the major leagues. And usually with a first-round pick, it doesn't take you that long to get to the majors if they do make it. Now, with that said, there's a lot of first-round picks that never make it to the majors. So he at least was a major league pitcher for the period that he was, in the major leagues. So very happy to add him to the multiplayer card. Again, like I said, Chris Mando, I think, does sign through the mail. Sandy, I believe, does as well. And I know Von Hayes does for, again, a small fee. So I'm probably going to send this off to Von Hayes with the fee just to get it completed. And hopefully you'll be seeing his profile on an upcoming episode. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so this one I'm really excited to share with you because it's been a long time coming. I've tried 3 times to get this individual, and it's been not 3 times recently, but just 3 times throughout my autographing career, we'll call it. And who am I talking about other than former Baltimore Oriole, Storm Davis on 2, of course, my all-time Orioles card, and also 1 as a Royal. And I decided to only send him 3 cards because this guy has tons of cards out there. But here's my justification for it. I had written Storm previously twice to this success. Once I sent it to him, and we're going to talk about this in a second. Once I sent to him care of his minor league baseball team. I never saw him again. And I also sent to him another time, probably when the virus was at its peak, and I never saw those again. So it could have been one of those things like it got lost in the mail. You know, Storm just shut down signing altogether during the virus pandemic. I can't explain what happened to the team ones. Maybe they never made it to him. I don't know. But as I always like to say, 3rd time's a charm. Luckily enough, this time I got my all-time Orioles card signed. And I am really excited to actually share Storm Davis's career with you because he has a really unique path to the majors. And, well, I wouldn't say it's unique because he has a kind of a unique story. And when I started researching for this video, it was something that I never knew about. And hopefully when I share that with you, you'd be like, I didn't know that either. So let me tell you about Storm Davis and his career to the major leagues in baseball. So Storm Davis, his name is actually George Earl Davis, and he is the son of George Davis, who was the athletic director actually at University Christian High School in Jacksonville, Florida, which is where Storm actually played his high school baseball. Storm was selected in the 7th round by the Baltimore Orioles out of University Christian High School in Florida. Like I mentioned, his father was the athletic director there. Now, there is some speculation, and I'll just get this out of the way about Storm. He doesn't go by George Earl Davis, obviously. He goes by Storm Davis, and most of you probably remember him as Storm Davis. There's a couple things, according to his Wikipedia page, that come to how he got his nickname. One story circulates that on the back of his 1987 baseball card, which I don't have, I'll show you a picture of it right here, it was derived from a character in a book that his mother read while she was pregnant with him. Another story traces his nickname to similarities with Palmer, the Orioles Cy Young Award-winning pitcher. He was a cyclone or a storm. In other words, so I don't know which story is true, which one's fact. You know, maybe somebody in the comments can clear that up. Now, here is the uniqueness, before we talk about his career highlights, that I did not know about Storm Davis until I did research for this video. Storm Davis, his father George Davis, was the athletic director at this high school. Well, there was this young man that basically became their adopted son. And who is this young man that I'm talking about? So this would be Storm Davis's brother, but not really his brother, even though they share the same last name, and that is Glenn Davis, former Houston Astro / Baltimore Oriole. Glenn Davis actually was raised more or less by Storm Davis's father, George Davis. I did not know the unique kinship between Storm Davis and Glenn Davis. And I never, you know, Davis is such a common last name, I never thought, oh, is Glenn Davis Storm Davis's brother? Well, technically he's not, but technically he is. So Glenn Davis and Storm Davis have been uniquely bonded in the fact that basically Storm's father raised Glenn. So that was a unique part of information I did not know about Storm. So let me tell you about Storm and some of his career accomplishments. As I mentioned, he was drafted in the 7th round by the Orioles. He actually moved pretty rapidly up through the Orioles system because he was just 17 years old when the Orioles originally signed him. After posting a 14-10 record in 1981 with the Double-A affiliate for the Orioles, appearing in 28 games, he would start the year in Triple-A and be there very shortly, and at just 20 years old, Storm Davis would find himself in the major leagues on April 29th, 1982. Well, that 20-year-old pitcher would start 8 games, appearing in 29, posting an 8-4 record that year for the 82 Orioles. Well, the next year, in 1983, Storm would become a starting pitcher primarily for the Orioles. He would post a 13-7 record at 21 years old for the Orioles. Storm would help lead the Orioles to the World Series title that year in 83. And then, the following year, in 1984, would post a 14-9 record starting in 31 games for the Orioles that year. 1985, he would post a 10-8 record. And in 1986, he would slip to just 9-12 for the Orioles that year. Well, after the 86 season concluded, the Orioles decided to trade him to the San Diego Padres for Terry Kennedy and Mark Williamson. So this is how Kennedy and Williamson became Baltimore Orioles. He would just spend that one season primarily with, actually he wouldn't even spend the entire season with the Padres before the Padres decided to ship him to the Oakland A's. Well, this would turn out to be a great move for Storm Davis because he would join the Oakland A's pitching staff, and in 1988 would post a 16-7 record on the World Series title Oakland A's that would eventually lose to the Dodgers. Well, in 1989, he would have the best season of his career, posting a 19-7 record, starting 31 games for the Oakland A's that year. And if it weren't for probably some of his teammates on that A's team, he might have won the Cy Young that year. I mean, 19-7 and you don't win the Cy Young. I mean, how crazy is that? So after his time with winning his second World Series in just 7 years, he would become a free agent from the Oakland A's. Well, the Kansas City Royals, coming off his best season, would sign him to a multi-year contract. Well, unfortunately, things didn't go so well in Kansas City for him. His first year in Kansas City, his record dipped to 7-10, and the following year, he actually was demoted to the bullpen, where his record dipped to just 3-9, and he only started 9 games. Well, after his second year with the Royals decided to trade him back to the Baltimore Orioles. Well, he spent one more season again with the Orioles. The magic wasn't there like it was previously, but he did post a very solid 7-3 record out of the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles, only starting 2 games. Despite this success, he was not re-signed by the Orioles, and he went back to the Oakland A's, where he had the most success of his career. Well, at this point in his career, he was kind of being a long reliever spot starter, and his record in 1993 was just 2-6 for the A's. And on July 9th, the Oakland A's decided to release him from his contract. Well, he then would move to Detroit and post a 0-2 record in 24 games to finish out the 93 season with the Tigers. In 1994, he would be in the Tigers bullpen. He actually posted some pretty decent numbers, going 2-4 with a 3.56 ERA in 35 games in the strike-shortened year. After his time with the Tigers in 1995 and the strike ended, he then signed with the Cincinnati Reds, hoping to make their major league team. However, he appeared in just 4 games for their AAA affiliate before retiring from baseball. So after his retirement as a player, he would get actively involved in coaching. He would coach in the Texas Rangers organization. He would also coach in the Miami Marlins organization for one of their affiliates. However, according to his Wikipedia page, and I don't know if this is still accurate, and since he has left affiliated baseball, he is now coaching at a very similar high school, a private Christian high school like that he attended in Jacksonville, Florida. So, in total, Storm Davis had a pretty immaculate career, a couple great seasons, two-time World Series champion. I'm very happy to add his autograph to the collection. I'm also very happy to add Tom Brennan to the collection, and I forgot to mention Tom's nickname is the Gray Flamingo. And he got that nickname because of his unique pitching style. So, forgot to mention that when I profiled him, but kind of a cool name, the Gray Flamingo. And Vince Scully is actually accredited with giving him that nickname during the broadcast. I also want to thank Bobby Meacham for his time signing as well. You know, very nice to add all three of these guys to the collection. I had never gotten any of them before. So happy to get Storm Davis. All of these guys' cards are pretty available. Not so much on Brennan because those are kind of earlier nights. Storm Davis has tons of cards out there thanks to the Junk Wax era, and Bobby Meacham does as well. So, thanks for learning. I hope you learned a little bit about this episode. I apologize about being a little bit longer, but I thought these were some unique stories that you would enjoy. I look forward to your comments below, and as always, happy collecting.